Alright class, it's me again. Same day I recorded the other videos. I think my voice is getting a little better, but still a little rough. Anyway, there are 3 warm-up questions based on the last 2 videos, so I want you to pause the screen right now, or skip this part. I'm going to pause my video and get the answers up, and then you can check your answers. So I'll be back in a second. Poof, magic, here we are. Here are the answers. So, real quick, with graphing vectors, you can put them wherever you want, so there was no right where place to start. Just do the movements. 2 to the right, 1 down is A, and then 3 to the right, 4 up is B, so connect that. Unit vector divide by the magnitude of the original, so we just divided by root 34, and here you just do some math. So check your answers again. There's that one, and that one. Alright, now let's talk about a result. A resultant vector is the result, or the vector, let me just say the vector you get when you add 2 vectors or more. I guess 2 or more. That's why it's called the resultant vector. It's the result. Now you need to be in AI and BJ hat form to add and subtract. Okay, so you have to be in that form to put vectors together. So let's talk about this. I'm going to just draw a little diagram here. Let's say we have this center dot. A force of 100 pounds is at an angle of 20 degrees. So that's 100 at an angle of 20. So I know my r and theta from last chapter. And we have another, it acts on another force of 80 pounds at an angle of 100. So that would be like this that way, but I'm going to just draw it here. And it's at 100. We want to know the result if you add those 2 vectors together. Okay? So to do that, let's call these like F1 and F2. This is F1, this is F2. I need these in component form. So F1, I need to turn into, I need, AI plus BJ. So I need to do R cosine theta and R sine theta. So the magnitude is 100, cosine of 20 degrees. That'll be the X piece. And 100 sine 20 degrees would be the Y piece. Again, these are the formulas you've known for a long time now. It's R cosine theta, R sine theta for the X and Y piece. So when you do that, 100 cosine 20, you get 93.97 in the I direction, plus 100 sine of 20, which is 34.20 in the J direction. Okay, so that's representative of that line. To get to this point from the center, you go 93 point whatever to the right and 34 point whatever up. F2 is the other force. That's a magnitude of 80 at an angle of 100 degrees for the X direction, and it's a magnitude of 80 sine 100 degrees for the Y direction. So we get 80 cosine 100. This should be negative. So it's negative 13.89 in the I direction. And then 80 sine of 100, which is 78.78. Okay, in the J direction. So I'm going to call the resultant force RF. The resultant force then is just adding these 2 together. 93.97 minus 13.89, that's all in the I direction, plus these 2 in the J direction. So when you do that, and you type it in, you get that the resultant force vector is 80.08 in the I direction, plus, and then you type it in again, 112.98 in the J direction. So this is the resultant force vector. However, notice how this is just the X and the Y movement for the result. Now it wants us to take that and give me the actual magnitude or the force and the direction the force is at. So to do that now we have to go back the other way. And remember that the magnitude of a vector is just like doing Pythagorean theorem. I'm going to take the 80.08 and square it, and add it to the 112.98 and square it, and take the square root. So the magnitude of this is going to be 138.48 pounds. Okay, that's the magnitude of the vector. Which makes sense, because if you have one force acting this way and another one, they're both acting up, so the result should be a greater force. Even though they're acting in different directions, left and right, they're both powering towards the north or towards positive y. To get the angle, think about what quadrant this should be in. This is quadrant 1, based on these two movements. So that's great, because usually our formula will give us that. Y over x. Okay, and again, these are all formulas you guys should know. The difference is we're just doing more with them. We're just combining everything we've done. So the angle that this is at is 54.67 degrees. So again, let's really quickly walk through what we did. We had two vectors. We had two vectors with magnitude and angle, or r and theta. So vector 1 we had to turn into x and y. So to do that, it's r cosine theta, r sine theta. And here was our x and y. Same thing with vector 2. Then you add the x's together and the y's together to get your resultant vector, or resultant force. From that, then it's just a conversion back to magnitude and direction. Okay? So we basically did all four formulas that we learned in polar. We did r cosine theta, r sine theta. We did the Pythagorean theorem, so r squared equals x squared plus y squared. That's what this is. And we did the tangent inverse theorem, or formula, I should say. So yeah, they all go together. That's how you find a resultant force. How one acts on the other. You add them together in component form, and then convert them back. We can also do this with planes. A plane travels, so it's always good to mark these just to see what they look like, at an airspeed of 400 miles per hour due west. So that's that way. The nice thing about that is that you can tell me that the vector, and we're going to say that the vector for the plane, the airplane, is equal to, well, you should be able to tell me that by looking at it. Because it's at one of the four quadrant lines or axes, that's just a movement in the x direction only. So that's 400. So it's going to be negative 400 in the I direction and nothing in the j direction. Now, if you're not sure, you could have said that this angle was at 180 and done the formulas. You could have said 400 cosine of 180 and 400 sine of 180. All right, we also have wind hitting the jet at an angle of 100. So this is 100 degrees right here, which means it's going to be pushing it a little bit more up. Now that probably shouldn't have been as long though, because it's only 50 miles per hour, so it should be shorter, but that doesn't matter right now. So we need a vector for the wind. So the vector for the wind is 50 cosine of 100, and that'll be the I direction, plus 50 sine of 100 in the j direction. So I type those in, and I get that this vector is negative 8.68. So it's actually going to be pushing it more to the left, which makes sense. But it's also going to be pushing it up. Oh, by the way, this has an I, this has a j. Okay, so here are the two vectors. This is the airplane, this is the plane, and this is the wind. Now to get the result, with respect to the ground, we call that usually VG for these airplane problems, because it's the vector with respect to the ground. You just add them. So if you add these, you get negative 400 minus 8.68, and that'll be what's in the I direction, plus 0 plus 49.24 in the j direction. So our resultant vector is negative 408.68 plus 49.24. Okay, so that's the resultant vector, but that is only the vector, that's the ground speed vector, but now we need to find the actual speed and the resultant direction. So first of all, if I graph this is in quadrant 2. So the resultant vector is like way over here and then a little bit up. So this is what the plane's actually doing from someone on the ground, because the wind's pushing it a little more than just west. So to find that, remember, we have the two formulas. We have the magnitude of this, which gives us the speed. So it's the square root of both parts. So go to your calculator, and if you need to pause and rewind, because I'm trying to get through this so the time doesn't run out, you can do that. And then take the square root of the answer, and you get that the speed of the plane, the ground speed, so relative to the ground, is 411.64 miles per hour. Okay? And then the last thing we need to do is find the angle. So again, we can use theta or alpha equals tangent inverse. I know they use alpha, so I'm going to start throwing that in more, but really just think back to the formula we use for theta. So it's 49.24 over negative 408.68. So when you type that in, you're going to not get the correct answer yet, because we get an angle at negative 6.87 degrees. Well, that angle is in quadrant 4. So again, to get from quadrant 4 to quadrant 2, we have to add 180. So the airplane angle is at an angle of 173 degrees, so it's almost all the way west like it was to begin with, but the wind pushed it a little more northward. So that's the direction the plane is in, and that is the magnitude of the velocity. So again, we are doing a lot with these two problems, but again, everything we did today, we have done on other problems. We're just putting it together. We're adding vectors, we're getting a final vector, we're then turning it into a magnitude and a direction. And we first had to turn it into our pieces. So it's like everything together in the last day. For vectors. We have other things with vectors we're going to do next, but alright, that's it for today. I'm sorry this was a little longer, but this should be good all-encompassing problems.